Hey guys, hello, hope you're all well. It's Terry from Smooth's Workshop here again. Yes, these are churning out quite quick because it's a big kit and all I'm doing is sub-assemblies at the moment and trying to keep these all kind of shortish now, these updates, so hopefully nice easy viewing, 20 to 30 minutes or whatever. And it is of the Revell Peterbilt 359 conventional truck in 1/16 scale. So, when you last seen me, just try to get this to balance up here. Bear with me 2 seconds. When you last see me, I was doing a lot of filing and filing and sanding and stuff like that. Plenty more of that to come, but you're not going to have to watch all that. But I did manage to get all my rear springs looking like leaf springs now. Not 100%, but definitely better than what they are, and got all the outriggers done so they're looking good. Now this sprue goo I've made up, right, I was told to leave it for 24 hours. 3 or 4 hours, I just must have the right consistency. I've managed to fill in all the rubbishy bits on the diff, so that's all done. So I've just clicked that into place, and that one, and clicked that into place, and put a prop shaft in, and we've kind of got a bit of a rear drivetrain going on here. Yeah, so it's starting to look a bit like a lorry. So I'm just going to move that off to the side, 2 seconds, and then move into the bench and show you what's next. That was my chair moving along there. Right, okay. What are we on to now? We're on to the engine. So, quite a lot of parts to the engine. Get the light working. It tells you a bit of a weird order here. Take the right side of the engine and put a really wobbly bit that might break off on, and then put the two halves together and the cylinder heads on and lots of little bits into it, and then build up the front end and the water pump and the alternator and all that sort of thing, and put that on the front, and the fan and fan belts and all that sort of thing, and just putting parts together. So I've taken all the bits off to cover me up to here. I'm not starting on the turbo yet. These will all require cleanup, obviously. Now, just a couple of points to note. That triangle around the part number 126 is supposed to represent a chrome part, and I hunted for ages and couldn't find it on any of the 3 chrome sprues. It's not a chrome part. That's it there. That's not chrome, is it? Not a Revell or Revell. Yeah. So I've basically looked through all these sections and cut all the parts off the sprues. I've also made note of, now, friends of mine are trying to use different conversion charts to work this out, but all the parts that are the wee flag there with the J on it, right, that's when it tells you when to paint a colour, so that E represents a steel colour for the back of there. All the parts are J are the cat yellow. Now, I don't have any Revell paints at all, but it's telling you to take 50% of beige 314 and 50% Lufthansa Gelb or Lufthansa Yellow 310. Anybody know what they two colours correspond to in Tamiya colours? Now, I'm assuming that's Revell colours. So beige 314 and Lufthansa Gelb or Lufthansa Yellow 310. If you could cross-reference, we've been trying to find a cross-reference on the apps and everything, I can't find it. Mixing a beige and the yellow gives you it. So I don't know whether I'm going to go for brown and yellow. I have got a beigey colour. What have I got there? I've got like a dark yellow, but yeah, I don't know. Be better if I can get the exact paint for it, but it is telling you to mix 2 Revell colours 50-50, and I have no idea what those 2 colours refer to, and if I could get them in Tamiya, I'd be laughing. But anyway, yeah, so I've looked through all the painting charts for it as well, and most of it's all J, which is the cat yellow. A couple of wee bits like the alternator and that in an aluminium colour, pretty sure I can just bolt that all together and blast it all with a cat colour and pick out the detail on the rest. The fuel filters are in white, and the fan belts are going to be in the, I'm going to do them in a rubber black. It tells you I'm doing an anthracite grey, and it tells you to do these pipes up here in the same anthracite grey. They're looking like rubber pipes to me, to do with the cooling that go up the radiator, so they'll be going in a rubber black as well. So I'm just going to have a quick run through the parts that I've had to take off to get me up to that bit. Not ready for gluing them yet, but because they're going to need some of them denubbed, and some of them have got quite a bit of flashing that on them. So there's quite a lot of detail on the side here. There's your starter motor. Well, what's quite weird about the starter motor is it's showing your pinion gear here. I mean, it's even got the wee screws and everything in the side of it, which I think is quite good. Why is the pinion gear exposed? The pinion gear should be inside the bell housing. So we've got the two fuel filters here. They've got even wee bolt plates on the side, sump plug, and one half of the injector pump. This is where the turbocharger clicks onto. Another side is similarly detailed, nice bolts and everything on the gearbox. I assume, as it's an American truck, it will be an automatic gearbox. Now, what's quite interesting there is it looks as if the gearbox shares the same oil with the engine. So there's the other half injector pump. Just for a laugh, I haven't dressed them up. Let's see how these fit together. Yeah. I can see some seams that'll need filled and stuff. Obviously the front part of the engine, this part goes on there. Yeah, but you're going to see a seam line with that anyway, because that's a casing bolting onto the front, so you would see that in an engine. But yeah, the big sprue gate there. So, and oh look, horrible sink marks on the bottom of the sump. Make that out. Sprue goo. Yeah, so I can see some sprue goo, bits of flash here. Yeah, some nice flash on there. So that's going to need a bit of clean up. But that's looking kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah. So the first bit it tells you to do is take that. Obviously I haven't cleaned them up, and then take this bit, whichever way up it goes. It'll probably be something like that, and stick. Must be this way up. Stick that onto there. Yeah. Okay, well, I will at some point, I suppose, but I think I'll wait till I've got it both together like that. And then you've got the cylinder heads. Both cylinder heads, I've got really nice detail on them. Just pull that up into shot there. Can you make out that 3408 cat? And of course that's, these will be the, it looks like a V8 actually. I thought it was a V6, it looks like a V8. So these will be the inlet manifolds here, because this looks like detail for a pipe with a connection on it, and it goes up to the back near where the turbo is. This is the rear of the gearbox or transmission, and again that's quite nicely detailed. That will not need too much cleanup because it's just the edges. So the front water pump casing, front crankshaft, and all that sort of thing. That's just another casing that a load of parts go into, such as the crankshaft pulley and the other pulleys, which have got nice bolt detail on them, but you can probably notice off to the left there's a bit of flash on the V-belts. But they're nice toothed belts and everything. And the fan. Obviously I've got to de-sprue and de-nub them. But nice bolt detail and everything on it. And then we've got, this looks like the back of the little alternator. You know, there's some not bad detail on them. I don't know how I'm going to, now obviously these little nubs on here will have to come off. This is supposed to be like corrugated type stretchy radiator hose. So I'm probably, when I clean that up, I'm going to have to scribe it a little bit. So that'll take a bit of work and take these off obviously. Not too much in that. So it's all going to go together nicely enough. I'm just kind of, that underhead looks as if it goes on there, like that side, with the pipe going up to the back, because this will all be for, and that'll glue onto there. Turbo and all that sits up there, and this one will sit up there like that. Still got a bit of nub to take off that one. Oh. Still got a wee nub to take off. That's why that wouldn't fit in there. And this sits up on that side. So that's a fair size of engine in my hand. You know, imagine that all painted up cat yellow, big turbo sitting on the top. All this coming up. You know, it starts getting into quite a decent size. Boing, flying off. And you imagine a big fan on the front and everything like that. So yeah, a lot of parts here, a lot of cleanup. So what I'm going to go off and do, because there'll be part I'll probably need screw glue on that, is the typical, let's see if we can get this into focus. Everything in this has ejector pin marks and seam lines, which is kind of normal in a lot of kits, but this kit seems to have more of them than, yeah, seam line all the way down the middle of there, that needs to come off. Pretty much every single part will require that level of cleanup. So what I'm going to do now is, that's all the bits. I'm going to go and clean them all up, and we'll come back, we'll stick them together, and we'll have the engine. I love engines, because, you know, once you put the engine together, and then, yeah, so see you in the next bit. Hey guys, welcome back, Smooth's Workshop. Right, said I was going to show the engine build up. It was a lot more work than anticipated. Several hours have went past of filing and cleaning parts and putting sprue goo into places and stuff. It was a bit of a mare. It wasn't a straightforward glue together. So, where did we get with it? Right, we've got it all built up. There were a couple of issues. I'll just get myself a pointy stake of some description. Oh, there's a nice one with a black bit on it. So, at the back here, there was sink marks, so I had to sprue glue them. But they were like really, really faint bolt detail. In fact, hardly any bolt detail of the panel that holds the top of the gear change down. So obviously when I sanded it back to get, once the sprue glue had set, to get it all nice and flat again, the bolt detail went. So I've not got anything to do bolt detail, so I've just done a few dots of sprue glue just to, for a distance, to make it look like bolts. So I had to fill that up there. On the underneath, there was sink marks in there, so I had to fill them with the sprue glue. You might notice they're slightly white. Sand them back. It needed needed 2 applications to get that done. And I had to repair all this middle bit again with sprue glue. So yeah, the 2 engine halves went together reasonably well, apart from obviously the sink marks and cleaning up all the lines all the way along. Oh, I've missed a tiny sink mark there. I may sprue glue that overnight. Not that you're going to see it. So 2 halves of the engine went together with a lot of sanding and sprue gluing, and then this pipe unit went on and glued into place, and then we started putting the cylinder heads on. Nothing is flush and level on this. Everything has to be sanded flat. So basically it was almost like skimming ahead to get it to fit on there. There's just 2 lines on there, and that the head locates on, but also when you're fitting it, push it towards the middle. Otherwise these exhaust pipes, I said they were inlet pipes, are not, they're exhaust pipes because they go out to the turbo. These don't meet with the turbo. Unusual holes in the turbo, so more sprue glue, lots of sanding. There's a compressor pump at the back that's hollow at the back. I kind of can, you're only looking at it for the top, but I mean, there's another, possibly a fuel filter or something like that. It's hollow at the back. Why? It's just attention to detail. So got both cylinder heads on, and rather than building all the front up, I actually built all the turbos up and then intake box into the top of the manifold. Took loads of clean up round about the injector pump. Got the other cylinder head on and got them all glued into place. Thankfully I'd done that, because this rear cover, which had a really bad sink mark at the top, which I managed to fill in the best I can, it wouldn't fit flush with this either. So I was having to squeeze really hard for quite a bit of while to get that to take. So eventually that took. What else? And then I went on to putting the front plate onto the engine. Again, nothing was flush, nothing was fitting, sanding it, jiggering about with it, trying to get it to fit. Got it to fit, still a couple of gaps here and there, so whatever gaps there was, it got sprue good. So this has had a good batter in today, or sprue goo. So yeah, I thought they were inlet manifolds, but they're not. That's exhaust. So both exhaust outlets go into the turbo, spin the turbo round, rams air into the air plenum chamber on the top, and obviously the air intake pipe will come out this side, and the exhaust will come out that side somewhere or another further down the line. So I've put my crankshaft pulley and alternator pulleys and everything on, and my alternator, I have left the fan off. It's a different colour, but it just goes on the front like that. Big beastie of fan. I was asking earlier if you could help me with the Caterpillar colour. Don't bother. Hero Paints have it in their zero paints, and it's a proper cat colour. It's about £6 plus shipping. So I've got my paint thing sorted out, so don't need to worry about that. So yeah, there's still bits of sprue goo drying on this. It was a total pain to go together, nothing fitted, lots of sanding, but got there in the end. So once that is all dry, that's basically ready for prep for paint, and I'll get the cat yellow and various stages of weathering and everything on it. So that's the engine, and I'm fair chuffed I got the engine done. It's taken me the best part of the day to do that because of all the filing and sanding. It's almost like the parts are kind of close, but you've got to keep at them to get them to actually fit. So whilst the sprue goo was drying on that, I built the radiator up, which comes up in a couple of halves. The header tank is to be a different colour, so I haven't glued that in at the moment. So just basically built that up and dressed it up. And the theory is, when that's sitting in front of the engine, these pipes will go into it, but as you can see, they're not quite right. You know, I'll have to fiddle about with them a little bit. Yep, so that's engine, radiator, that's that done. We're still waiting on the sprue goo drying, so built up another couple of sections. These will be going in an aluminium colour, and that's to go in the black, funnily enough. So I'll just mask them, because you've got to glue them right along the join. And I thought it'd be a lot easier to glue them and mask them than paint them and then try and glue them without messing the paint up. So that's steps for either side. And then the wheels and tyres. Now, the chrome quality on these is not good at all. I'll show you this front one anyway. What I've done with the tyres. Oh, is that going to stay in? Is that going to come out? The tyres have a big... See if we can get more light on this. The tyres have a big seam line up the middle. So with a coarse sander, I've sanded it all the way along the middle, and it kind of gives the tyre a worn look. And I was thinking, well, I need to paint these or not. I've also scuffed the sides, so the one on the left is kind of scuffed up and looks as if it's worn, and then the one on the right isn't. So I'm going to scuff it up. These tyres come, there's a big thing like that in it. You have to cut all that out, when you cut it out, the tyres, I'm going to have to try and stretch them, because when I actually sit on the wheels, they're not sitting right on the rims. So I'm going to have to work on these. I don't know if I'll need to do it in warm water or something like that to get these tyres stretched out. Now the front ones, the chrome on them, it's pretty poor. They do slightly undercut them, but the chrome's, I don't like the chrome. It's all scratched, it's all blemished. You can see the flash on the edge of the wheel there. You know, so they've not taken any flash off before they've done the chrome plating. So yeah, basically that sits into your tyre like so, and then the rear part, which is a clear plastic, a grey plastic, ordinary piece of plastic, goes in at the back, and you would glue the two of them together, and then there's a little centre hub piece. But what you tend to find is, I've been stretching at this one, so it's not bad. It's fitting the tyre, it's fitting the wheel now. Pull the camera back there, you might actually see what you're talking about. I've been stretching this so it fits the wheel now, up against the rim, whereas the one I've not particularly stretched much is, till I get your thing in, it's kind of flopping about and moving about on the rim there. So I need to stretch the tyres so that they fit like the other one, and obviously scuff, everything's falling apart, scuff the one on the right up like the one on the left, so it looks more like a real road wheel. The backs weren't much better, slightly different setup for them going together. Just pull it apart. You've got a chrome piece and tyre number 1, and then an insert piece and tyre number 2, with the writing always going out the way. These cleaned up okay. Again, need to stretch the wheels, and that bit cleaned up okay. The bit with the 4 ejector pin marks on it is the bit that faces out the way, but even when you put these two together, that tyre's moving about in the rim, so that needs stretched. And then we go on with the front one now. Again, they're undercut slightly, but the chrome quality is abysmal, and I actually had to remove flash. I think there's one I've missed. I haven't actually done this one. There's flash. Let's see if I can find it again. This one. There's flash in these spoke areas. That when you clean it up and take it off, it takes the chrome with it. Various markings, rough bits on the chrome, they're going to get stripped, but I just put them all together to see what they looked like. So that's them all together, but the tyres are kind of needing stretched. So that's that. So as far as sub-assemblies goes, I'm kind of getting near the end of what I can do with the sub-assemblies. That's the engine all done. Well, right, I've done that. I've not put the engine in, obviously, because I've got to paint it. It tells you to put the prop shaft together, and it clicks together very carefully. It wasn't even round, it was oval, so they took a lot of cleanup, but that's the main prop shaft. Clicking them together was, I got there, but it was like, oh, didn't break it. So yeah, the prop's done. As you've seen, I've done the 2 radiator halves together. The header tank for the radiator, it's going a different colour. I haven't done the fan cowling, it's going another colour as well, but I can take that off and dress it up when we're getting round to paint. It tells you to put the radiator in. I might set some of them in place in the lorry tomorrow maybe, once I get a wee few more bits done, just to let you see what it looks like. I'm thinking about lighting this up. The front bumper's obviously going to get de-chromed, but the way the lights work on this, the clear parts actually have a little pin on them. So these are like spotlights. Now the fact that they sit in the bumper and they're supposed to sit into there is quite good for me if I want to drill a hole and pull wires through. but I'm going to have to modify the clear lenses because that pin's going to be no good if I want to try and put an LED in there. So I'll have to think about that. Tells you to put this bit on. It's just another bit that gets painted in aluminium that sits in the middle of the deck. It's got all that lovely cross hatching on it, same as both of those steps. So yeah, I put the steps together. The tank is chrome, it's in 2 halves. That'll need stripped before I put that together. I'm planning on re-chroming with the Molotov liquid. Can I get the light? Molotov liquid chrome. That's because this lamp's sitting a bit low. With Molotov liquid chrome is what I'm planning on doing it with. That's better. Get the white balance back without that piece of paper there. So that's what I'm hopefully going to make a better job of the wheels with. Might look a bit more natural. That's, yeah. That tells you how to cut out all the tyres, how to put all the wheels together, which I've just described. The extra bit that I haven't taken off yet is a little pin that goes through the middle, which you glue to that, but you don't glue it to the wheel so that the wheels can turn. So it looks like the wheels can turn, and on the back it's a similar setup. I showed you the pieces. There's another little spigot goes in there, and again it tells you to glue that onto there, but not onto the actual wheel. It shows you putting the wheel on. So then they're going onto the cab. For me to build any of that cab at all, that's all going to need painted and detail painted and everything, and the same with the seats before that goes in. Same with the pedals and the steering column. The dash, I need to paint that as well, but it has got a decal for it, even though it's got the wood grain effect on, so I'll need to see how the decal goes on with it. I'm also going to have a little toy about with possibly lighting some of the dials up. See how I get on with that. It might come to nothing and I'll abandon it. A wee CB radio, again, there's a lot of individual parts need painted before they go back together. And the steering column and everything, that's not going to go until it's painted. Construction of the cab itself, the glass is not going to go in obviously because that's got to get painted. The roof spoiler might go on. The windscreen wipers won't go on because they're going to be painted a different colour from the body colour and won't go in until the window's in. So that's all down to painting, although I can clean that up and kind of sit it on the wagon and see what it looks like. And then we've got the firewall, which is individually painted up, which is a different colour from that. So we can't glue that again until it's painted. And then basically the top cab slides onto the interior. I'm also wanting to look at to see if the wee running lights on there, if there's enough space to run fibre optic. I don't know. I'll kind of judge that at the time. And then it goes on to the sleeping compartment. Thinking if I'm going to be putting any lighting in, that's where I'm going to put my power supply and any switches in there underneath if I want to work the lights. Tells you to join the two of them together. Obviously that's all going to be colour painted and whatever I'm going to shove inside first. As far as putting the two of them together, that won't be happening to start with. Then I'm not even sure if I'm going to use these decals. It tells you to put the cab and everything on there. So that's all painting. I can assemble this. And I'll see how well it fits together. If it's like anything else, it'll need sprue glue and a lot of modification. Another wee support there that doesn't really detail very well where it goes, but that will get figured out. I think that's another light. So that kind of things will get left till later. This is your airbox intake. Is that what that mount is for? Right, okay. Right, that looks like your airbox intake. Or the exhaust one of the two. It comes from the right hand side, and the right hand side is the exhaust actually. Not sure, it's all a bit confusing. So, I mean, I can put bits and bobs together. These are intake pipes. That looks like the airbox because that's the left-hand side. More intake pipes, more intake pipes. I can put them together. As far as assembling them into position, not really, not yet. The exhausts, the chromey parts, they're all going to get stripped before they get glued together and painted. And then they fit them on. And there's a couple of tie bars there for support bars for the radiator. Again, I think they're chromed. They'll need to get stripped. And this is what I was on about with the running lights on the top. I'll need to see if there's enough room on those. It's a little clear part on the end. Can I drill those out? Can I get fibre optics through them? The horn and stuff, I think that's chromed. That'll need stripped. We've got a lot of running handles and stuff. So it's all like ancillary stuff. We've got most of the main stuff built now. Yeah, pretty much. It's all just wee handles and brackets and figuring out the lighting, putting the bonnet and the mudguard together. Obviously, I'll get that done because when that goes to get painted, that'll need to be done in winter. But I'll not put any of these lights on yet. Some of them are really, really, really small, and I don't even think I'll get an LED in them. So it might just be headlamps and tail lights on this, or I may just not bother lighting it at all. I'll have to have a look at all the light sizes. The other fender or front mudguard on, and then it's all about the headlights as well. The headlights are chromed and part of the main front grille surround, so there might be a way of drilling. If there's enough space to fit LEDs in, I'll light them up. I'm talking about the nano tiny ones. But there's not enough room to pass the cables down through there, so it'll be drilling and sort of routing the cable in the shortest route. As I say, I might not be using those decals. Again, more mounting brackets. That's the hinge for the bonnet, so the bonnet tips up. You've got rear outriggers to get done. They'll get left till last because they've only held on with the one pin, and you know what they're like, they'll snap off. And the rear mud flaps. And onto decaling, so there's not a lot left to do. Well, there is a lot left to do because it's just like cut this bit out, cut that bit out and stick it on. If it was as easy as that with this kit, I would have been a lot further ahead than what I am. So yeah, I've got some chrome parts to dechrome. I have another couple of small sub-assemblies I can make up. And more so once I get them dechromed, and some of the cab work and the bonnet work I can get done. But we're basically going to be looking at priming and painting and starting to weather things like the engine and getting them all in. So I think that's all the main big assemblies done. So hope you've enjoyed this. It's hard work, this kit. I'm hoping it will turn out lovely with all the hard work in the end. But it's hard work. Everything you touch needs sanded, filed, sprue good, reshaped. If it doesn't look quite right, you're basically trying to sculpt parts to make them look what they're supposed to be like. But it's part of the fun of the build. But yeah, that's a day's work. Just getting that together and making it look like a proper engine without big sinkholes and gaps and all that sort of thing. But I've done it. So the next big job on that is painting it. It's not really a big job, straightforward. So yeah, as I say, I hope you've enjoyed this. Any comments at all, do leave them in the bottom. Keep them constructive, please. The videos for this are probably going to start slowing down now because I've pretty much been trying to keep them up to 20 minutes and beasting, 20 to 30 minutes and beasting through all the sub-assemblies prior to painting. I think there's probably one more batch of sub-assemblies after the chrome strip. And then it's stuffing cocktail sticks and painting it and then start to assemble it together. So there might be another one comes out after this once I get some more sub-assemblies done, but I think it's going to slow down a bit because I'll get bits of this primed on the side, but I've got 3 other projects on the go. So it was just really to get this built up, get an idea of the size of it, and then it can kind of go in the back burner for a little bit. So although we've had a lot of quick updates, one after the other, they're not going to be so quick now. So yeah, as I say, comment below. I'm waffling again. Terry from Smooth's Workshop. I hope you're all great, guys, and as always, happy modelling. See you later. Bye.